Hey, third graders. We're on chapter 15 of Crenshaw. Just a reminder that the videos might get a little long, and I'm sorry about that. Just because we have to get through about 20 pages every day. Make sure we get the book in, okay? So we just found out that Crenshaw was sitting in the bathtub, and now they're going to try to get Crenshaw to Jackson's room. And as they walk out, Robin, his little sister, comes out and goes, "Who are you talking to?" Dun, dun, dun. It's gonna find Crenshaw. Is she gonna see him? Here we go. Aretha, I said. I was talking to Aretha. I hated lying, but it wasn't like I had a choice. Robin yawned. Were you giving her a bath? Yeah. I looked back and forth and back. Sister, imaginary friend. Sister, imaginary friend. Aretha ran over to nuzzle Robin's hand. Aretha's not wet, Robin said. I used the hairdryer on her. She hates the hairdryer. Robin kissed the top of her head. Don't you, baby? Robin didn't seem to see Crenshaw. Maybe because it was pretty dark in the hallway, or maybe because he was invisible. Or maybe because none of this was really happening. She smells the same, Robin observes. Nice and doggy. I glanced at Crenshaw. He rolled his eyes. Oh, well, Robin said, yawning. I'm going back to bed. Night, Jax. Love you. Night, Robin, I said. I love you, too. As soon as her bedroom door closed, we retreated to my room. Crenshaw leaped onto my mattress as if he owned it. When Aretha tried to join him, he growled. It wasn't very convincing. I need to understand what's happening, I slumped against the wall. Am I going crazy? Crenshaw's tail rose and fell, making lazy S's in the air. No, you most certainly are not. He licked a paw. By the way, at the risk of repeating myself, how about those purple jelly beans? When I didn't answer, he settled down into a donut-shaped tail wrapped around himself and closed his eyes. He purred the way my dad snores, like a motorboat with engine problems. I stared at him, a huge, damp, bubble bath-taking cat. There's always a logical explanation, I told myself. And a part of me, the scientist part of me, really wanted to figure out what was going on. Still, a much bigger part of me felt certain that when I needed this hallucination, this dream, this something to disappear. Later, when Crenshaw was safely out of my house, not to mention my brain, I could think about all that this meant. A soft knock on my door told me Robin was back. She always knocks the beginning of Wheels on the Bus. Tap, 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 tap. Jackson. Please go to sleep, Robin. I can't sleep. I miss my trash can. Your trash can? Dad took my trash can to sell at the yard sale. I'm pretty sure that was a mistake, Robin. I said, nobody wants to buy your trash can. It had blue bunnies on it. Well, we'll get it out of the garage in the morning. Aretha made a move to sniff Crenshaw's tail. He hissed. I put my fingers to my lips and shushed him, but Robin didn't seem to hear anything. Night, Robin, I said. I'll see you in the morning. Jackson? I rubbed my eyes and groaned the way I'd seen my parents do more than once. Now what? Do you think I can get another bed someday? Sure, of course. Maybe even one with blue bunnies. Jackson? Yes. My room is scary without all of my stuff in it. Could you come read me Lyle? I took a long, slow breath. Sure, I'll be there. Robin sniffed. I'll just wait right here by your door, okay? Okay, I shot a glance at Crenshaw. Just give me a second, Robin. There's something I really need to do. Chapter 16. There's that Crenshaw. He's back. I went to my window and opened it. Carefully, I pulled out the screen. Our apartment was on the ground floor. A few feet below the window, a cushion of grass waited. Goodbye, Crenshaw, I said. He opened one eye a bit, like someone peeking from behind the shade. But we were having such a lovely time. Now, I said. I put my hands on my hips to show him that I mean business. Jackson, be reasonable. I came all this way. You have to go back to wherever you came from. Crenshaw opened his other eye. But you need me here. I don't need you. I have enough to deal with already. With a great show of effort, Crenshaw sat up. He stretched, easing his back into an upside-down U. I don't think you understand what's going on here, Jackson, he said. Oh, Stacy. Imaginary friends don't come of their own volition. We are invited. We stay as long as we're needed, and then, and only then, do we leave. Well, I sure didn't invite you. Crenshaw sent me a doubtful look. His long, whiskery brow moved like strings on a marionette. I took a step closer. If you won't go, I'll make you go. I put my arms around his waist, and he yanked. It was like hugging a lion. That cat weighed a ton. Crenshaw dug his claws deep into my quilt my great-aunt Trudy made when I was a baby. I gave up and let go. Look, Crenshaw said as he extracted his claws from my quilt. I can't go until I help you. I don't make the rules. Then who does? Crenshaw stared at me with eyes like green marbles. He put his two front paws on my shoulders. He smelt like soap suds and catnip and the ocean at night. You do, Jackson. You make the rules, he said. A foghorn bleated in the distance. I pointed to the windowsill. I don't need anyone's help, and I sure don't need an imaginary friend. I'm not a little kid anymore. Balderdash! That's a big word, balderdash. I wonder what that means. Is this because I hissed at that odorous dog? Balderdash. I kind of feel like it means like, psh, like, you're crazy. Like, he's saying, I don't need anyone. And Crenshaw's like, psh, you're crazy, because you totally need help. That's why I'm here. No. Could we at least wait till morning? There's a chill in the air, and I just took a bubble bath. No. Tap, 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 tap. Jax, it's lonely in the hallway. Coming, Robin, I called. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a frog hop onto the windowsill. He gave a tiny, nervous croak. We have a visitor, I said, pointing. Maybe if I distracted Crenshaw, he'd move on. Did you know some frogs can leap so far it'd be like a human jumping the length of a football field? They're amazing jumpers. They're amazing bedtime snacks, too, murmured Crenshaw. Come to think of it, I wouldn't mind a little amphibious morsel. I could see he was in full predator mode. His eyes turned to a dark pools. His rear wiggled. His tail twitched. See, Crenshaw, I said. Fine, Jackson, he whispered, eyes lasering in on the frog. You win. I'll leave. Do a little hunting. I am, after all, a creature of the night. Meantime, you get to work. I crossed my eyes over his chest. Crossed my arms over my chest. On what exactly? The facts. You need to tell the truth, my friend. The frog twitched and Crenshaw froze. Pure muscle and instinct. Which facts? Tell the truth to who? Crenshaw pulled his gaze off the frog. He looked at me, and to my surprise, I saw tenderness in his eyes. To the person who matters most of all. The frog jumped off the sill, back into the night. In one magnificent leap, Crenshaw followed. When I ran to the window, all I saw was a blur of black and white streaking through the moon-tipped grass. I felt like I had taken off an itchy sweater on a cold day, relieved to be rid of it, but surprised by how chilly the air turned out to be. Chapter 17. Robin was waiting for me in the hallway, sitting crisscross applesauce. Her stuffed armadillo, Spot, was on her lap. I took her hand and led her to her bedroom, her rainbow nightlight painted stripes on the ceiling. I wish I had one in my room, although I'd never admit it. I heard you talking, she said as she crawled under her blanket. Sometimes I talk to myself. Well, that's kind of weird, Robin yawned. Yeah, I said, tucking her in. It is. You promised Lyle, she reminded me. I'd been hoping she'd forgotten. Yep, he's in my keepsake bag. I rummaged around in the brown paper bag, a bald doll poking out of the top, sizing me up with a blank and beady eyes. Scooch over, I said. Robin made room for me on her mattress. I opened the book. Its pages were soft, its cover tattered. Robin, I asked, have you ever had an imaginary friend? You mean like invisible? Invisible. Yeah, like that. Nope. Really? Never? Nope. I have Lysandra and Jimmy and Kyle, and sometimes Josh when he's not being a boogerhead. They're real, so I don't need to pretend. I flipped through the pages of the book, but sometimes you know when you're alone. I paused. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to ask. Like say you're home and you don't have friends over and you really need to talk to someone who will listen. Not even then? Nope, she smiled, 'cause I always have you. It made me happy to hear her say that, but somehow it wasn't quite the answer I'd been hoping for. I opened the first page. This is the house on East 88th Street. It is empty now. Like our house, Robin interrupted, only we live in an apartment. True. Jax, Robin said softly, remember when we lived in the minivan for a while? Do you really remember that? You were so little. Kinda, I remember, but not really. Robin made Spot do a little dance on her blanket. But you told me about it, so I was wondering. Wondering what? Spot performed a backflip. Wondering if we're going to have to live there again. Because where would we go to the bathroom? I couldn't believe it. Robin was just a kid. How had she figured so much out? Did she spy on our parents the way I did? Robin sniffed. She wiped her eyes with Spot. I realized she was crying without making any noise. I miss my things. I don't want to live in a car with no potty, and also my tummy keeps growling, she whispered. I knew what to tell her. She needed to hear the facts. We were having money problems. We were probably going to have to leave our apartment. We might even end up back in our minivan. There was a good chance she'd have to leave all of her friends behind. I put my arm around Robin and hugged her close. She looked up at me. Her eyes shimmered. You need to tell the truth, my friend. Don't be ridiculous, I said. We can't live in our car. Where will we put popsicles? Besides, Aretha and Dad snore like crazy. Is he telling the truth? Is he doing what Crenshaw had told him to do? Nope. But he is saying like this little white lie to help make his sister feel better. Is that okay to do? I don't know. That's the hard part, is do you tell the truth and know that that would cause more worry or make someone scared or upset? Or do you not tell the truth to try to comfort someone and make them feel better? That's tricky. You worry too much, girl. Everything's fine, I promise. Now let's get back to Lyle. Another sniff, a nod. Hey, fun fact about crocodiles, I said. Did you know that a bunch of them in the water is called a float? Robin didn't answer. She was already sound asleep, snoring softly. Me? I couldn't sleep. I was too busy remembering. Now we're on to part 2. Let's see. Mashed potatoes are to give everybody enough. Number 18. Okay. I guess becoming homeless doesn't happen all at once. My mom told me once that money problems sort of sneak up on you. She said it's like catching a cold. At first, you just have a tickle in your throat, and then you have a headache, and then maybe you're coughing a little. The next thing you know, you have a pile of Kleenexes around your bed, and you're hacking up your lungs. Maybe we didn't become homeless overnight, but that's what it felt like. I was finishing first grade. Oh, so this must be going back. That's why it's a different part. Because in the first part, he's older. I believe he's entering fourth grade, if I can remember correctly. I think you guys can help me out with that one. So we must be going back to the first time that they ended up being homeless. I was finishing first grade. My dad had been sick. My mom had lost her teaching job, and all of a sudden, bam! We weren't living in a nice house with a swing set in the backyard anymore. At least that's how I remember it. But like I said before, memory is weird. It seems like I should have thought to myself, whoa, I'm going to miss my house and my neighborhood and my friends and my life. But all I remember thinking was how much fun living in our minivan was going to be. Chapter 19. We moved out of our house right after first grade ended. There was no big announcement, no goodbye party. We just sort of left, the way you abandon your desk at the end of your school year. Aww. That's kind of not what happened this year, though, is it? Here's our desks with all of our stuff on it. I miss you all. We just sort of left the way you abandon your desk at the end of the school year. You clean it out, but if you leave a few pencils and an old spelling test behind, you don't worry about it too much. You know, the kid who has your desk next fall will take care of things. My parents didn't own a lot of stuff, but they still managed to fill our minivan. You could hardly see out of the windows. I saved my pillow and backpack to load last. I was putting them into the rear of the car when I noticed something odd. Someone had left the back windshield wiper on, even though it was a sunny day. No rain, no clouds, nothing. Back, forth, back, forth. My parents were packing odds and ends in the house, and Robin was with them. I was all alone. Back and forth, back and forth. I looked closer. The wiper was long and awful hairy. Who could that be? It looked a lot more like the tail than a windshield wiper. I leaped out and ran to the rear. I saw the dent in the fender from the time my dad backed into the shopping cart at Costco. I saw the bumper sticker for my mom had used to cover the dent. It said, "I brake for dinosaurs." I saw the windshield wiper, but it wasn't moving, and it wasn't hairy. And right then I knew, the way you know that it's going to rain long before the first drop splatters on your nose, that something was about to change. Ooh, I'm going to make a prediction, and I think the something that is about to change is that was the first moment that Jackson saw Crenshaw. That's what I'm thinking. All right, everyone. Have a great one.